Hello, you all. Welcome to this new edition of Lectio Musica, the place for great lyrics, great music, and great meaning. My name is Guilain Prince. I'm a Franciscan friar. Yes, a Franciscan friar who loves rock music for a long time, especially hard rock, metal, and prog. Now, loving rock does not mean that I listen to rock like I used to do. I used to play, breathe, listen 95% of my, I would say, conscient time, rock music when I was a teenager, a young man, and after that when I played a lot of music. Of course, this is not my way of life, as you can understand as we speak. Largely, my life is made of silence, both because I chose this way of life and also because of my work. My work is reading, translating, interpreting scriptures. So I would say 95% of my time is in silence as we speak. But I still love taking a little bit of time every week. So what I will do is I listen very closely to a song. Usually it's on my day off, the Monday or the Sunday afternoon. And I will listen to a song closely, react to it, and make a short analysis of the song. This is my thing. On my day off, I love to go out and walk and hike, and in the car I will listen to a full album of Nightwish, Epica, Tool. There will be a little bit of rock and metal, and during my week with a friend who loves rock music as well, we will go down in the formation room where I have a great sound system, and I will listen with him or them. Sometimes it's friends. A new album. We kind of help each other to listen to new things, and this is a wonderful experience. But you have to know that I don't live as we speak in metal. I don't live in rock music constantly. It's not. No, I've chosen another way of life. This is why sometimes I resonate. I echo in my heart. If I do carefully one song, I will carry that song for a few days. This is part of the consequences of my way of life, is that instead of doing a lot of things, going very fast to different things, I will carry for a few days a song. And this is how I come into, I would say, I will appreciate a song that I do not necessarily appreciate on first hearing, on first sight. This is why a song, as I get a little better understanding, I will love. Probably Freedom, The Wolf Within would be a good example of that. My first hearing of the song was, I said it, it's good, I like it. And I was sincere in saying that. But I cannot say that it was an absolute smash for me. But I have to say that since then, I've listened again the song and analyzed it, both in terms of music and in terms of lyrics. I cannot be endless about the music dimension. I want to focus a little bit on the lyrics. The reason why is I think that we as fans and listeners, we tend to underestimate the importance of lyrics. Because for many musicians, many songwriters, the words are the main elements. Often they will have either the text build up completely before the music, and sometimes they will have ideas, and they will work music while they are constructing the lyrics. It depends. Every writer is different. I've written songs in all fashion. First, it was the music. I kind of thought of what would be the words that I want to be on over that music, and the other most of the time the words came first and then the music, and even I would say sometimes the complete and structured words are finished before I even begin to think of the music. So I would say that all cases are possible, but for this song being part being part of the album Omega, we're going through the whole album, and we do that slowly. I said 12 weeks, 12 songs. I should have said 12 instrumental piece of music, because I intend to do, of course, a kind of the 12 will be a summary, a global understanding of the album and discussion about the album in general. So we did the Code of Life last week, and earlier this week I reacted spontaneously to the song Freedom, the Wolves Within. This is the analysis of the song. This is the 6th song of the album Omega. It was published in 2021. It's the 8th studio album of Epica. Composer has written. Usually I'm quite confident that the names being given by Genius Lyrics are quite good most of the time. Sometimes I double check with other places. I don't have the printed liner notes, so sometimes the printed liner notes are more accurate, but I don't have access to that, sadly. The lyricist is Marc, and the composer is Marc and Epica as usual. You know that he will bring some ideas, and the band will, while constructing the song, will bring in, give input. So we say really the composers are Marc and Epica. The introduction basically is one note or one chord, fundamental, very low, the sound, and then the choir begins, and the choir will do one cycle, what we will call section A, and then there is an instrumental section. It's basically replaying for the instruments the A section, and then another A section in terms of instruments and choir comes back. So the two halves of the A section, or A1, A2, are there, and in between there's a full instrumental cycle of the same. So it's quite interesting. I love it to see how Epica is able to work a lot with structure. I love it. I think it's wonderful. I would like very much other musicians to do that, very much. Now, in terms of lyrics, let's dig a little bit deeper. Choose between hungry wolves, between lies and truth. Only one of two will be strong and rule. I don't think there's much to say here. It's quite clear. Two wolves, we will see it's based on a Cherokee, either story or parable, we could say. There are two wolves within us, as the title says clearly. Two wolves, one white, one black. And the original story explained very clearly what is the black and what is the white wolf. Here, only one of two will be strong and rule. So we will see. It's quite interesting. We go to the second. Choose between hungry wolves, between light and gloom. Only one of two has to starve and lose. I want to point out as we speak that in Epica's, I would say, interpretation of the Cherokee parable, one of the wolf will die. will starve and lose. So there is a winning and a losing wolf. We will see that it's not exactly the same as the Cherokee, but it's interesting. It's interesting how they took from the original story. Now, choose to take that crucial leap of faith, abandon fear, and ease all your pain or fixation. Face your chaos, feed the enemy, an appetite for your harmony or vibration. Take a leap of faith. A leap of faith has two pretty much understanding. One of them is being in front of either an obstacle or something you don't see the horizon, you don't see what will come, but you have to do the step anyway without knowing what is ahead. That could be a leap of faith. Of course, for I would say, the Christian tradition, leap of faith means to have confidence in someone. And here I would say the leap of faith is a little bit both, because the band Epica tells us that a leap of faith is necessary to go deeper. So there is a little bit the relational dimension of faith. Faith is not only a religious, it's also the confidence we have in someone else. In fact, this is the etymology, the root of faith, of fidei. So abandon fear. So here, of course, it doesn't want to say that fear will be out of your life. I don't think it's possible. But not to let yourself being driven by fear. You do a leap of faith. Ease all your pain. Now, there is something here. Our fixation seems, I think that there is a small, I would say, opinion here, that our fixation today is to ease our pain. But I think that Epica has an opinion on that we could look for the wrong solution. And there's a true solution to ease pain, and there's a wrong solution. And we already know that from other songs, I would say. Now, let's try to find a real solution to pain. Face your chaos. There is a solution that would be to fly away from your chaos, to ignore what's happening inside. But by facing it, you'll be able to truly ease the pain. Feed the enemy. Here, feed the enemy. Who is the enemy? If the wolves are inside, is the black wolf the enemy? The black wolf is the enemy of the white wolf, not of the person in which the two wolves are inside. So the two wolves are two dimensions in our mind, in our personality. They are there. Who is the enemy here? As if we, for a moment, we speak as the white wolf. I just want to point out that there is a different understanding of the Cherokee story in the song. But doesn't mean it's not interesting. I think both are very interesting. An appetite for your harmony. So face your cows, feed the enemy, an appetite for your harmony. I'm not sure all of this is fully coherent here. But what I like is that there is an appetite for harmony in front of chaos. There's a desire for harmony in front of an inner chaos, probably this fighting between darkness and light. Okay. But harmony as being our vibration, I don't like very much this language of vibration as if harmony is a kind of a fundamental vibration in human being. I think the whole song and the whole parable is much more interesting than this kind of affirmation. But okay, I understand, but I find it more or less interesting in that context. Anyways, Mark, in growling, arrives. Darkness drags you down. Step into the light, answers Simone in a very classical way. Wisdom feeds the righteous mind. And then Simone has a change, and then the two voices blends to say, is one choice away. Quite easily we can understand that Simone in that song is the white wolf, it seems to be, and the dark wolf sometimes being embodied by Mark. This is quite interesting, but I think that Marx more generally speaks as the unknown, the portion of our humanity, of our heart that we don't understand. So darkness drags you down. The black wolf will drag you down, and here the down is not the within that you have to go, which is facing the chaos inside of us, which is a good thing. It brings you down deep into what is not good of the kingdom of the black wolf, I would say here. So there is the down of the black wolf and the down of the conscient mind trying to make sense of the chaos within. So, and wisdom feeds the righteous mind. He doesn't speak as the black wolf here when he says that. The righteous mind, the righteous and wisdom, we will see that wisdom is knowledge of ourselves and making good decisions, discernment. So Mark is, you will see that he changes, the character changes along the way, and it's quite interesting. He's not the Fourier of the first song. He is not the fears of humanity anymore in that section. Step into the light, we can see very clearly the white wolf saying that, and change is only one choice away. You can step into the light like in one decision. That's interesting, You can, it's not as if it's something that is so big and so far from us. No, it can be done. The stepping into the light is something that could begin with one choice. That's interesting, isn't it? Now, the D section, what we will call the chorus of the song, freedom, true freedom, to know where to seek is to see. We're the gateway to our mystery. We're the gateway to our mystery. Our freedom, all we ever need is freedom. The wisdom we gain will abate all the pains so we can rise to greater heights. Here the notion of freedom is really linked with dealing with the two wolves, not being in prison by especially the black wolf, but this notion of freedom as being the capacity to choose, to know where to seek. So freedom, I would say, rhyme with wisdom here, because we are free when we know where to seek. So there is knowledge of ourselves that is part of wisdom and of freedom. To see the gateway to our mystery, to see where do we have to go to our mystery. We see again this idea of the first song, the window or the key to own self, to know us even better. Our freedom, all we need is freedom. That's interesting. I want you to hear the other part of this. All you need is love. As a Christian, I would say that all I need is love, and freedom is within love. But let's continue. This is not the point here in that song. The song, freedom is wisdom, is being able to cope with chaos, is we being able not to be driven by only one portion of the black sheep, not the black sheep, the black wool. The wisdom we gain will abate all the pain. Okay, so the wisdom, the freedom will remove the pain to greater heights. Well, I think this is a very, I will say it, a very Buddhistic way of saying, as if pain is something that is removed by knowledge. Of course, personally, I don't think so, but because there is pain that comes from authentic experiences and of real care, of real love. In real love, there is pain. So for me to go to the highest of the highest is not without pain, but these are little difference, and I love to dialogue, as you can see. All of this is made with a big smile, and let's continue the dialogue on this. So for me, great heights is not without pain, because real love has pain. Not because I want to have pain, but because by loving, I will be exposed to pain. But let's continue. We can try to cover up our flaws. In time, we'll have to deal with its cause, our damnation. Clear your chaos and diachony. Restore your balance, and you'll be free, our salvation. Kind of interesting to see that they are very Christian words in here, but what it talks about is not basically Christian. It's a different understanding of damnation and salvation. We can try to cover up our flaws. Yeah, this is what we do when we don't want to face the chaos within us. This is we try to cover up. In time, we'll have to deem well its cause. That's true. Not only to recognize that there is fear in us, but why am I experiencing fear in certain situation, and to understand why and what is the cause of that. Very important. Very, very important. The knowledge of ourselves. Now, the cover up our flaws would be our damnation. I agree with that. Clear your chaos and the agony. You understand this. Restore your balance, and you'll be free. This is where I a little bit disagree. As if salvation is balance, I'm not always sure of that. I think that to make sense, to have a clear mind about what's happening inside, to have a balance in the sense that we are not completely submerged by some part of ourselves. I agree, but sometimes rightfulness can seem very unbalanced. But we'll talk about that. Or unwise sometimes in the mind of the world. Again, Mog comes back. Sadness drags you down. Retrieve your spark. Wisdom feeds the seeking mind, as a change is one's choice away. Sadness drags you down. Again, we can see darkness drags you down, sadness drags you down. This is not the within of conscience. It is really going deeper into darkness here. Retrieve your spark and go in within yourself. You see that within yourself there's light. There's a spark. So retrieve the spark inside of you. So wisdom feeds the seeking mind. The one seeking to understand receives wisdom. That's very good. As a change only one choice away, we already know that. we already know that chorus. I love the entire. I just want to say that I love this very short section. Love it. The transition between the chorus and the here is what we will call the refrain again. The first refrain and the second you have at the very beginning of the song. This is the third. Choose between hungry wolves, between lies and truth, only one of whom will strive onward. One of these two will lose. Again, this theme that one wolf has to strive and one has to die. Interesting. Different from the original, but it's interesting. Here follow reason. Wisdom leads to freedom. You see? Wisdom leads to freedom. Follow reason. Reason, of course, is not rationality here. A reason as being reasonable, yeah, to take the good path. Here is the section E. I think we can call it a bridge. All left behind with two sides that won't align. In a world out of his mind, we can find truth in you. All left. All left. Who? What is all left behind? Maybe the bad. Maybe some people. I don't know. Here, I don't understand. With two sides that won't align. Two sides that won't align. Are they talking about the black and the white wolves? And all left behind. I don't think there's leaving behind the wolves. Maybe leaving behind the black wolf, so that the white and recognize that they will never align. You just have to choose one. In a world out of his mind. So this has an implication outside. So if you choose the white wolf within you, you will have to be coherent and choose the white wolf outside of you. But this has to be found first within you, so that you can recognize it outside. That would be my take on this, but I'm not sure of what is written there. Please help me to understand out here. And there, Mark comes. Rise, the battle will unfold before our eyes. This war defines who we are. Be sure not to become what we despise. Very interesting paragraph here. Again, Mark gives himself among the best lines. Rise. Rise would be then to give space to the white wolf and to act accordingly, if I understand well. Because the rising is going at the heights, in the heights that Simon talked about earlier. Yeah, that would be my take on this one. The battle will unfold before our eyes. I think the battle outside, because it's our eyes, so it's a battle outside of us, and in that battle you have to rise as being, I would say, a white wolf, not the subject, but on the contrary, that will give the wolf inside of you the full space. This war defines who we are. The war outside defines who we are. That's pretty much coherent with what I know with Epica, is that we construct the world according to what's inside of us. So this war, this everything happening outside, is coherent with what is inside the heart of the people, of each of the persons. Be sure not to become what you despise. We understand that as well. This is a very big tendency. I love this other transition as well, and there's the return to the beat of the chorus, freedom. I should have put a D prime on this one, because the two last lines are a little bit different. The choices we make will define our own fate, so we can rise to greater heights. That's a little bit different, and it's coherent with what we just read. This inter after the chorus, I love it. Did I say that I love it? I love it. There begins before the end another sentence, important sentence by Mark. Fight, the righteous mind survive. The righteous mind here is not only righteous mind within himself, but the one who will come out in the world as a righteous mind. Choose between hungry wolves, between light and gloom. Only one of two will be strong. This is what we already read in A2. So at the beginning, the second half of the very first section. And then there is this rule that ends the previous section, and now it's the first word. Rule wolves. This is said by Mark in Growling, and in which the choir answers lose or choose. So choose the wolf that will win in your heart and go clearly, distinctively into that direction, and that's the end. It ends with the word choose. In terms of music, it's again, it's close to others, the two last songs we saw, but there are differences, and it makes it very interesting. You notice that there was the first refrain, A1, with one cycle, instrumental cycle, second refrain, and then you have the verse. There's the growling section, if I remember well, with in alternance, and then there's the D section, which is the chorus. The verse, second verse, C, including growling, and then the D section, which is the chorus again. A small instrumental section. You have the choir coming back with words that are a little bit different. That's the nature of a refrain. There's a closeness, there's similarity with the two previous one, but it's different. And then you have the bridge, E, a small instrumental section. The chorus comes back again, and with the nice inter between, and the A2 refrain and A4 refrain, and in between there's a one sentence of Mach. So I made the virtue of a refrain as if it's so funny, because I get the impression, probably a wrong impression, that Epica discovered what is a refrain. I discovered what is a refrain in that album of Epica. So they have it in every song since. So they use it a lot. This idea that a refrain in English is partly, or sentences melodically and or in words that are repeated, but the structure of this refrain can change quite a lot, which is very different from a chorus, which is quite stable, both melodically and in terms of word. There might be a little differences, in fact, but there are very little differences. But a refrain in English can offer quite a good deal of variation, something that we saw in the three last songs. There is the gravity of the choir and the lightness of the chorus, freedom, freedom, sung by Simone. Some people said it was popish. After listening closely to the song, I can say no, it's not. The voice of Simone, the one that she chooses to have, is what adds, I would say, a naive candeur, we say in French, and it might sound to certain ears popish, because that's the way that the pop singers that's the way they place their larynx, the way they sing in pop song. But if you listen closely, the melody is not that popish. There are some portions of freedom. This is a little bit like pop music, but there are lines in there that are not pop at all. So beware, because they chose to impersonate the white wolf, like the Beauty and the Beast, with a very naive kind of voice, a very clear, the type of voice we hear in pop music, that Simone takes for this does not mean that it is a pop song. It is not really a pop song. It's really great symphonic metal. But the posture, yeah, it's closer to pop, but it's not a popish refrain here, chorus, sorry. The Mark's here, the contribution is excellent, both in words and the way he enters with his voice at the right moment. I like Mark. I said it, I repeat it. For me, Mark is the embodiment of wise use of growling, of meaningful use of growling. I find him, I haven't seen one place where he's not relevant. Okay, so I like him. I really like Mark. Both as a musician, I respect him very much. And if you know something, a musician composes great melodies, composes great music, great song, in that case, songwriter as well. The music is very good. And still, he sings in growling. He doesn't give himself, for whatever reason, the beautiful melody section. He growls. He's anti-musical or anti-melodist for himself, in a way. That is quite something. I really wondered why. I would like sometimes to hear a great male vocal for Epica with some lyrics, especially the song, not Code of Life. Code of Life had a great singer. The one before, I would have loved to hear. I think it's The Abyss of Time, where there's an acoustic version. The melody of the acoustic version is absolutely gorgeous. And there, I thought that the male melodic voice would have made a great impact. But the growling is good. To me, it's good. So. There's in that song, I appreciate the choice of voices, the males, the male choir, some very one or two lines, and then the whole choir comes in. The voice and you notice that Simone sings in, I would say, a more pop, modern way, but she sings in the classical way with few lines. I appreciated that. Generally speaking, I liked it. It is not a simple song as it sounds at first hearing. So I can say sincerely that my appreciation of the song grew as I listened to it a little bit more, and as I analyzed it, it makes much more sense to me. In terms of lyrics, not many difficulties in that song. Simple to read and understand. The Cherokee parable, an analogy. There's a modern reading of it. I would say a psychological adaptation of the Cherokee parable. So let's go in terms of meaning now. The parable, as told, thank you to all of you guys who gave me that text. I didn't have to look for it. I would have, but I didn't have to look for it. Here is how it goes. One wolf is evil. He embodies anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other wolf is good, joyful, peaceful, and embodies love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. I just want to point out that the two wolves in the Cherokee story are two dimensions already present in every human heart. They are there. They will be there. So if the boy asks, which wolf will win? The grandfather says the one you feed. But the grandfather says at the same time that the two wolves are still present in his old age. So feeding the wolf will make it more present and will have more influence outside. But the wolves do not disappear in the Cherokee parables. They are just controlled. So you give more space to one than the other, but the other will still be there. In Epica's song, there will be a winner. There will be a loser among the wolves. If the video illustrates that the fight of the two wolves is constant in the heart, in the present as we speak, according to the song, is the key. Now you have to choose. So in Epica's song, there's more an understanding that one wolf has to die, one wolf has to win. And in a way that in that first step you take by choosing the white wolf, it's one step into the light and into the victory of the white wolf inside and outside. That's a little bit different. And as I was saying, that in the Cherokee parable, fears and pains, this is in the Epica, fears and pains left behind by a leap of faith. So there is I would say, the belief that we can leave fear and pains by walking towards the light or giving space to the white wolf. Now, here is the element that I don't understand in the song. Feed the enemy. I'm not sure I understand who is the enemy here. As if for a moment the person was embodying the white wolf. So the enemy of the white wolf would be the black wolf. But for the person recognizing that the white wolf and the black wolf are within himself, it's two sides of the same person. They have, both of them, they have to be fed if you don't want to lose control, but not necessarily the same way. So in the song, to get to know oneself is the first opening to our mystery. Wisdom is given to the seeker of the heart. The gain of knowledge and making good choices is wisdom. Okay? The origin or the cause of the flaws will end the agony. The end of the agony comes from the clearing of the heart, to know your chaos, to understand the causes of everything. So that is why I'm saying that is, I would say, a psychological interpretation of the original parable that was pretty much, I would say, a moral interpretation, as two sides within the human being. They are both there. They will be there all along, and we just have to be alert and to feed the good side, the white side, you know. But the fears and the black will always be there. And there is this sentence that Mark says at the end: be careful not to become what you despise, what we despise. So most of the time what we despise outside is a sign of what we do not accept inside. And that's very interesting. Be ready to fight, says the song, for the white side, because the black, what's happening in your heart is in fact happening as well in the world. The righteous mind survives in the war to come. So be sure you will be one of these righteous minds, heart and person. Generally speaking, I like the take of Epica on that song, on that parable, Cherokee parable. I can see it's not exactly the same. It's personal. It's as usual, and it's coherent with what I know of Mark. Reading ancient myth, religions, stories, and giving a psychological twist to it. This is very coherent of Mark, and I appreciate that. And sometimes I find it's good, interesting, most of the time I would say, and sometimes, like I said in for example, the Seal of Solomon, I don't think it was a success for that one. But for this one, I like the reading, the psychological interpretation of the song, of the parable, original parable. I still love both, but I like the Cherokee story, and I like. One word about the video now. The video is gorgeous, simply gorgeous. It takes the idea that in an outside situation of a war, destruction of a village, and did you notice that the village has the shape of the Epica logo? It is so creative, so creative. It's beautiful. So the characters evolve within a village with the Epica logo. Destruction, killing of dear ones, and there's the reaction of vengeance by the main character that we understand all in situation of war. Now, the other thing is that the very end, the image stop when he has the choice to continue his vengeance and to kill the one kneeling in front of him. And at the moment he is about to maybe kill or not, there's the word choose. Of course, aesthetically, there is a reminder of the Cherokee tribe of North America with the kind of village tipi that was traditional. This is a great video, and I think that I understand why they singled that song and videos to be out before the rest of the album. I understand, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the art, appreciate the reading. It's a different reading than the song. It goes in parallel, which if the song focuses on the heart, the battle within the heart, the video focuses on an outside battle. But in the outside battle, there's an underground battle, and the battle of the wolves inside the heart of the main character. Love it. Our journey continues. 12 songs, 12 weeks. 7th will be the Kingdom of Heaven, part 3. I'm so looking forward for this one because I appreciated the 2 first parts of Kingdom of Heaven. I will have the reaction out on Wednesday. Always sorry when there's something that happens. Last week the subtitles didn't work. I don't know why. It worked only on Wednesday night here in Canada. I cannot give any explanation about that, and I'm sorry for those who don't understand French. They come to the reaction. Just an invitation. When something like that happens, just come back. Don't worry. You know I will do it. You know. So just come back. And don't forget 5 languages of subtitles. I've worked, even if it's mainly automatic with DeepL, I still work quite a lot so that you have the best subtitles possible I can give you personally. Of course, all of this would need to be revised by a French-speaking, English-speaking, Netherlander-speaking, etc. But that's the best I can do, and I think it makes things understandable. At least that's the objective here. The premiere is always on Wednesday, 1:30 Montreal time, and just look for your area. What time is 1:30 to be part of the premiere. And of course, you can subscribe to the channel and click the little bell right beside so that you'll be notified as soon as a new video comes out. For now, of course, I tell you it was a pleasure. Oh no, it was a privilege to do that album. I hope you appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to see you next Wednesday to talk on the chat and to have your reaction in the comment section. So be at home. Dialogue is the key word here on this channel. Respectful dialogue. For now, see you. Bye-bye.